All right, guys, and have we got some spicy news for you this Saturday? First of all, it's now SBF versus Caroline Ellison, except Caroline Ellison has two tag team bros or buddies on her side. Yes, this is a couples fight, but it is a lopsided couples fight between SBF and Caroline Ellison because SBF has run out of ideas. It seems now that he wants to pin the blame on both the FTX lawyers, not his lawyers right now, but the FTX lawyers and Caroline Ellison. He tried to say that basically he was the one that was really trying to stop Caroline from actually hedging so much and making really bad decisions. Caroline obviously testified against him that she was almost crying each day because of SBF and how much pressure there actually was. And she also mentioned in her testimony that SBF had the final say in everything and he actually okayed everything. Unfortunately for SBF, Gary Wang and Nishad said pretty much the same thing. So it's 3 against 1. And SBF did actually admit to fraud right in front of the judge. He did say he did actually commingle the coins, but he also made the excuse that he didn't know it was illegal. Fortunately for him, the jury was not present, and that won't actually be released to the jury, and the jury is kind of forbidden to read any news on the FTX case while this court case is going on. But the judge probably is not too favorable towards SBF at this point in time. Because obviously, when you say something in front of the judge hears it, and now the judge is like, yeah, this dude's guilty, and he's just trying to BS his way out of it. And he's trying to blame Caroline Ellison. But this catfight between former lovers is hilarious because it involves the entire circle and ring. Remember, the top 4 guys in FTX were SBF, Gary Wang, Caroline Ellison, and Nishad. All 4 of these people, I think, had the keys to the trading engine and the matching engine. So because of that, they are in the middle of everything. And all of them are against SBF because remember, the trio of Caroline Ellison, Gary Wang, and Nishad all signed plea agreements. And they're all working together to bring down the big mob boss. So the big mob boss is very, very much in trouble. But I think this catfight between former lovers is going to be funny because like Caroline Ellison is still trying to have the facade that she really cares about SBF, but she also wants to send him to prison for life because she doesn't want to go to prison herself. And basically, she's got to protect herself and Gary Wang and his shot as well in court. Because if SBF convinces the rest of everyone else that these 3 are actually lying on the stand, then their plea deal is their plea deal. But lying on the stand obviously gives you more time in jail. So they're going to cooperate with each other as well. And the thing is, I truly believe that it was SBF calling all the final shots. So I don't think he has really any way out of this at all. But this is like pay-per-view TV. Unfortunately, this case cannot be televised because it's a federal criminal case. And unlike the Donald Trump case, this doesn't draw as much attention from the United States. So like NBC or like CNN or Fox News or something is not petitioning to have it be on public record. So we can only hear tidbits of the news afterward, and we are not in the courtroom at the moment, which I think is a big loss for us because I think this would be comedic gold between Caroline Ellison and SBF. I think it'd be even more comedic gold if it was Caroline Ellison, Gary Wang, and Nishad versus SBF in Mortal Kombat. Winner take all. You know what would be really funny is if the judge basically gave SBF a choice of life in jail or not life in jail, but you have to marry Caroline Ellison afterwards. I think that would be freaking hilarious, and I wonder which choice he would actually choose because that's gotta be an awkward couple afterwards. Dang, man. This is getting to be very spicy. It's like, former lovers / friends, and they're all turning on each other because they all want to avoid jail. And the thing is, I think SBF, because Caroline was the one running Almeida, and Almeida was the one that actually lost all that money, he's really trying to pin the blame on her. But unfortunately, all the co-defendants are testifying against him. And because the way the testimonies actually work out, they're basically all on a team against him right now. But we'll see how this actually turns out, and we'll see how thick their friendship is after this, because there is definitely going to be some fireworks. It would be funny if they all made them share a same cell afterwards for 2 years. I wonder who would actually be alive at the end of the 2 years. Maybe none of them, because I don't think any of them could actually withstand prison at all. So This is all falling together, all falling apart, all falling into a big pile of monkey crap. It's really, really funny, and you won't want to miss the drama. I will keep on reporting it here as it goes on. Monday is the cross-examination day, and I think that's going to be a doozy, especially when you cross-examine SBF. I think he's going to tell things that like he shouldn't. He's going to say things that he shouldn't say. He's not going to listen to his lawyer, and he's just going to spill everything about himself. Now, it'd be awesome if he actually told something about Gary Gensler or like a federal official that might have been helping him, but I don't think that's the case because I don't think he has any dirt. But pay attention to this space because this is the best drama we're going to have for a long, long time in crypto. In other news, VanEck actually predicts Solana will raise by 10,000%. That's right, that's a lot of rising. So they predict a 10,600% rise by Solana by 2030. Now, I think it's foolhardy to predict anything by 2030 because 2030 is 7 years off, and I wouldn't advise anyone try to predict anything past 4 years because that's a cycle. I also don't think Solana is going to rise that high. Solana's what, like $20 right now? I don't think it can get to like $3,000. It's like $30 right now. So I don't think it's going to raise above $3,000. I think like once it gets a couple of hundred, I think it's going to hit a ceiling. I do believe all cryptos generally have a ceiling where it's going to be harder for them to go up. Solana, yes, they do have the partnership with Visa, but even if it overtakes Cardano and other cryptos, I doubt it will actually overtake Bitcoin because Solana obviously has its own problems, and we'll see like if it can actually stay up in the next bull run. I think for Solana to reach like thousands of dollars, it would actually need to like overtake Ethereum, which is possible, but there are a lot of other there's a lot of other competition that's actually going around at this moment. And I think I don't know if Solana is going to be the one that actually comes out on top. Obviously, there's a lot of hype on it. VanEck might have some investments in Solana, but that's definitely not the target price that I would actually be looking at for SOL, and definitely not 6, 7 years into the future. So VanEck, I think their target price for Ethereum is 11,800, and I think by 2030, Ethereum has a much, much better chance of reaching VanEck's target price for them than Solana has reaching, $3,000. So it's good to actually see someone so bullish about SOL, especially if you're an SOL fan. But SBF did actually blurt out in court that he was basically holding Solana up by himself. And the thing is, he's no longer part of it, obviously. So I don't really know how much Solana is going to pump in the next bull run. Sam Bankman-Fried, obviously you can't take his words at face value because he's always trying to exaggerate his own contributions to these projects. So we'll see what actually happens. Solana has made some positive moves, but I still think other coins are going to perform better than it in the next bull run. But if you're interested in Solana, doesn't hurt to actually invest a couple of dollars. But still, it's not a coin that I'm interested in, but there is a really, really positive prediction by a major investment firm for Solana. The SEC is receiving flack for their actions against LBRY, and some of the flack is coming from one of their own, Hester Pierce again. She thinks they should have let the market determine LBRY's fate. The SEC should not have taken that much action against him. Of course, John Deaton is lambasting the SEC, and many in the crypto industry are lambasting the SEC and taking up their portion of the fight. There might actually even be some legal remedies for the LBRY situation. And remember, the network is not dead, only the foundation is dead. But the SEC is probably receiving more bad press and more bad flack from the LBRY decision than they actually bargained for. Because remember, they originally wanted $10 million from LBRY, but because of their lawsuit sucking up all of LBRY's funds for legal defense, they eventually had to settle for $110,000. So realistically, they're suffering all this flack for a mere $100,000 in reparations and fees, and I don't think it's actually worth it for the SEC. So the thing is, this is just another big blunder by Gary Gensler, and it's getting the SEC a lot of bad press, including from one of their own. So that doesn't really look good for it, that the SEC is not all together on this. So basically, Pierce said the regulators' actions forced a group of entrepreneurs to abandon what they built, which is absolutely true. Hester Pierce has actually been against the SEC actions altogether, and I think she might be starting to influence some of the other commissioners as well. So Pierce said, feeling unsettled following the SEC's enforcement action against LBRY in 2021, and in November 2022, a judge ruled in the favor of the SEC. We all know this, And then like she had overdue thoughts on the SEC government's website about what she thought of the action. So like the commission has brought many troubling crypto enforcement actions, but the LBRY Incorporated case has especially unsettled me. This is from the SEC's website. A statement on the case is overdue. I did not support bringing the case. She hasn't really supported any of the cases, but we have been unable to speak publicly about my concerns while the case has been in litigation. They're not allowed to speak when the case is ongoing. Last week, after losing in federal district court on the question of whether the sale of LBRY tokens was an unregistered securities offering, LBRY announced that it will not move forward with the appeal on the decision, mainly because they ran out of money, and that's why they're closing. Not because they're legally wrong, but they like literally ran out of money. Instead, the company will shut down and its assets will be placed in receivership and used to satisfy its debt, including the civil money penalty owed to the commission. Are investors in the market really better off now that the commission's litigation contributed to the demise of a company that had built a functioning blockchain with a real-world application running on top of it? Absolutely not. This case illustrates the arbitrariness and real-time consequences of the commission's misguided enforcement-driven approach to crypto. And she is absolutely right about that. So the thing is, like, she's saying, like, you don't have to dig deep that much to find fraudulent crypto projects that sold tokens with promises that they did nothing to fulfill. But LBRY was not that. I think Hester Pierce is definitely highlighting the commission's hypocrisy and that they are not actually satisfying their mission. So I think this looks bad for the commission that one of their own actually spoke out against them. And I think it's going to further erode the SEC's credibility in both the eyes of the public and the eyes of the courts. So a positive development for crypto. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.